Transform your life with this one simple change. Let me ask you something that could change everything for you. What if I told you that the life you're dreaming of, the one that seems far away, is just one decision away? Not 10, not 5, just one. Most people spend their entire lives searching for answers in books, seminars, podcasts, and advice from others. Yet transformation doesn't begin when you get more information. It begins when you make one powerful change. Stay with me to the end of this message, not because I want your time, but because this one simple change could be the exact breakthrough you've been searching for your whole life. If you leave in the next minute, you might just walk back into the same patterns. But if you stay, you may never look at yourself or your potential the same way again. There is a silent truth about life that many overlook. Transformation doesn't always come from a massive overhaul. It often begins with one single decision. Not 100 steps, not a 5-year plan, not a grand revelation. Just one small but significant choice, made with full conviction, can redirect the entire course of your life. We live in a culture that celebrates big moves. We're told that if we want to change our lives, we have to do everything: quit the job, move to a new city, start over, burn bridges, and launch a new chapter overnight. But real transformation often whispers before it roars. It's quiet. It's subtle. It's in that one decision you make when no one's watching. That one moment when you say, enough. That instant when you choose courage over comfort, growth over stagnation, vision over fear. Think about it. Your life right now is the cumulative result of the decisions you've made so far. Some of those decisions were small. What to eat, who to text back, how to spend the next hour. Others were bigger: who to love, what to believe, what to sacrifice. But no matter the size, they each contributed to where you are right now. That's the power of choice. And here's the good news. If one set of decisions brought you here, then one new decision can begin the journey to somewhere far greater. This one decision doesn't have to be dramatic, it just has to be clear. Maybe it's the decision to no longer allow your emotions to control your day. Maybe it's the choice to wake up 30 minutes earlier and use that time to grow. Maybe it's choosing to finally silence the voice of fear that has held you hostage for years. Maybe it's saying no to a relationship that drains you, or saying yes to an opportunity that scares you. The change doesn't happen because of the size of the action. It happens because of the depth of your resolve. A decision backed by belief is far more powerful than 100 ideas without execution. The world doesn't respond to what you say you want. It responds to what you're committed to becoming. And commitment always begins with a decision. One decision can stop a cycle. One decision can restore self-respect. One decision can break generational habits. One decision can shift your identity from a victim to a victor, from reactive to intentional, from wandering to purpose-driven. You're not waiting on life, life is waiting on you. And every delay is not because the dream isn't possible, but because the decision hasn't been made yet. We often say we're waiting on the right time, but truthfully, we're avoiding the discomfort of making a real final decision. And in that delay, we stay stuck. Not because we're incapable, but because we're undecided. Look back at the pivotal moments in your life, the ones that defined you. Weren't they all tied to one clear moment of choice? The moment you decided to walk away, the moment you decided to try again, the moment you said, I deserve better. Those decisions weren't random. They were power moves. And you have the same power right now. Don't underestimate what today could become if you simply decide. Not halfway. Not I'll try. Decide. Burn the backup plan. Close the exit door. Draw a line in the sand. The moment you do, everything starts to shift. The mind gets sharper. The heart gets stronger. The path becomes clearer. You don't need a new year, a new week, or a new life to begin again. All you need is one clear, bold, and final decision. And that one choice made today could become the hinge that swings open the door to your greatest future. Everything you want to change in your life, your habits, your finances, your relationships, your self-worth, begins in one place: your mind. Before success shows up in your bank account, it must be planted in your belief system. Before confidence is seen in your posture, it has to be built in your internal dialogue. Nothing transforms externally until it is first conquered internally. This is a truth so simple, yet most people overlook it. They try to change their lives without first changing the way they think. The mind is the command center of your life. It is not just where thoughts live, it's where your future is shaped. What you consistently think about becomes what you feel, and what you feel guides what you do. The real prison isn't your environment, your past, or your lack of resources. It's the mental limitations you've accepted as truth. If you want a different life, you have to first build a different mindset. This is why some people remain stuck in the same cycles year after year. They change jobs, change cities, change relationships, but they never change their thinking. They run from external problems, but the internal narrative stays the same. And wherever you go, your mindset goes with you. If you still believe that you're not good enough, not capable, or not worthy, it won't matter how many opportunities you get, you'll sabotage them every time, because your mind will always find a way to prove what it believes. The world you experience is filtered through your beliefs. If you believe life is hard and people can't be trusted, that's exactly what you'll see. If you believe you always fail, then even in success you'll feel unworthy. But if you begin to shift the lens, if you begin to believe that growth is possible, that healing is real, that your past does not define your future, suddenly the same circumstances look different. Suddenly, new possibilities begin to emerge. Why? Because your perception is no longer poisoned by fear or doubt. The challenge is that most of your current thoughts are not even yours. They were planted by others, parents, teachers, culture, pain, and past failures. Over time, those voices became your own. Now you repeat them daily without questioning them. I'm not smart enough. I always mess up. This is just how I am. These thoughts have become identities, and you live them out not because they're true, but because they're familiar. To truly change your life, you must become intentional about what you feed your mind. Just like your body responds to what you eat, your mind responds to what you consume and repeat. Begin by identifying the thoughts that limit you. Write them down, challenge them, replace them, speak new truths daily until your brain starts to believe them. It won't feel natural at first. Your old mind will resist, but over time, repetition becomes reality. This is not about blind positivity. It's about mental clarity. It's about refusing to allow outdated, false, or broken beliefs to dictate your destiny. Because if your thinking is small, your life will shrink to match it. But if your thinking expands, your life will begin to stretch into spaces you never imagined were possible. You don't need to fix your whole life overnight. You just need to fix your thinking, one thought at a time. Because when your mind believes you can grow, your actions will align. And when your actions align, your results will follow. Everything starts in the mind. When you own that truth, you stop blaming the world and start reprogramming yourself. And that's when real transformation begins. Not just around you, but deep within you. Motivation feels good, but it isn't reliable. It comes and goes like the weather. One day you wake up excited, ready to conquer the world. The next you feel heavy, tired, and distracted. That's why transformation cannot be built on motivation alone. The people who truly change their lives, who go from struggling to thriving, from average to excellent, do so not because they feel like it every day, but because they made discipline a habit. They show up, even when the fire is gone. Discipline is doing what needs to be done, especially when you don't feel like doing it. It's the muscle that pushes you past the limits of emotion. It's what wakes you up early when comfort tells you to sleep in. It's what keeps you learning when laziness whispers, take a break. It's what makes you say no to distractions even when the world offers you easy escapes. Discipline is the quiet force that builds the foundation for every great life. It doesn't make noise. It doesn't ask for applause. It just delivers results. Motivation is emotional. It's like a spark. It can ignite a fire, but without fuel, it burns out quickly. Discipline is that fuel. It's the repetition, the consistency, the commitment to keep going even when the excitement fades. Anyone can start a journey when they're motivated, but only the disciplined finish it. Because motivation is a feeling, but discipline is a choice. And choices made repeatedly shape character, habits, and ultimately your destiny. Think about anyone you admire, someone successful, wise, respected, or strong. It's not because they were always hyped or inspired. It's because they developed the ability to do hard things without waiting to feel good first. They trained their minds to follow through. They didn't ask themselves, do I feel like it? They asked, what must be done? And that simple mental shift is what separates wishful thinkers from powerful doers. There's a freedom that only discipline can give. When you are disciplined, you no longer live at the mercy of moods or external circumstances. You take control. You gain the ability to direct your energy instead of being pulled in every direction. You become intentional, focused, grounded. Your emotions may still rise and fall, but they no longer dictate your behavior. That's strength. That's maturity. That's power. The truth is, everyone wants change, but few are willing to do what change requires. We want to feel better, look better, earn more, grow more. But we resist the discipline that makes it possible. Why? Because it's not glamorous. It's repetitive. It's uncomfortable. But it works. Discipline builds trust with yourself. Every time you do what you said you would do, even when it's hard, you build integrity. And over time, that integrity turns into confidence, clarity, and a sense of purpose that no motivational quote can ever give you. If you wait until you feel ready, you'll waste years. If you depend on bursts of energy, you'll always fall short. But if you train yourself to act regardless of feeling, you'll become unstoppable. You won't need inspiration to move forward. You'll move forward because it's who you are. The most powerful transformation doesn't begin with hype. It begins with the quiet decision to stay committed when no one's clapping, when the results haven't shown up yet, when it's just you, the goal, and the hard work in between. Build your life on discipline. Let motivation visit when it wants to, but don't depend on it. Let discipline carry you through the days when nothing else will. That is how lasting change is made. Not in moments of excitement, but in daily acts of obedience to your purpose. Discipline is the bridge between where you are and where you're destined to be. Cross it. One of the most underestimated forces in your life is your environment. The people you surround yourself with, the content you consume, the conversations you entertain, the energy you allow into your space, all of it is shaping you, whether you realize it or not. You don't rise above your environment, you reflect it. Your mindset, your habits, your level of confidence, even your belief in what's possible are often mirrors of the world around you. You could have the most powerful dreams, the clearest vision, and the strongest desire, but if you remain planted in toxic soil, your growth will be stunted. Environment is not just where you live, it's what you allow to live around you. It's the voices you listen to, the values you absorb, the behaviors you normalize. If your circle constantly complains, plays small, gossips, and avoids growth, that energy is infecting you. It might not show up immediately, but slowly and silently your standards start to drop. You begin to doubt what once felt certain. You question whether your goals are too big. You tolerate mediocrity not because you want to, but because it's all you see. And that's the danger. Not all poison is loud. Some of it is quiet, familiar, and wrapped in the comfort of long-standing relationships or habits. If you're serious about transforming your life, one of the most critical decisions you'll ever make is to audit your environment. You have to ask hard questions. Are the people in your life helping you grow or keeping you stuck? Do they challenge your excuses or enable them? Are your daily surroundings filled with inspiration or distraction? Transformation requires intention. You cannot casually drift toward greatness. You have to build an ecosystem that supports your next level. Many people pray for change while refusing to leave the places that are killing their growth. They say they want clarity, but they remain in chaos. They say they want peace, but they tolerate drama. They say they want to grow, but they refuse to detach from circles that are rooted in old versions of themselves. You cannot stay loyal to your past and expect to walk into your future. At some point, you must choose comfort or calling. Changing your environment doesn't always mean cutting people off with bitterness or arrogance. It means you start honoring your growth enough to protect your peace. You distance yourself from what drains you. You invest your energy where it multiplies, not where it's constantly being depleted. It's about creating space that reflects who you're becoming, not just who you've been. It's not personal, it's purposeful. Sometimes, the boldest move you can make is to be alone for a season so you can rebuild yourself properly. When you remove noise, you begin to hear your own voice again. When you stop trying to fit into places you've outgrown, you give yourself permission to rise. This isn't about isolation, it's about alignment. And once you're in alignment, the right people, the right habits, and the right opportunities will find you. But it all starts with your environment. Transformation is not just about what you do, it's about what you no longer allow. You don't have to be the smartest, richest, or most talented to change your life, but you do have to be intentional about where you place yourself. Growth is not an accident. It's the natural result of a well-designed environment. So if you're feeling stuck, overwhelmed, or lost, it may not be your dream that's broken. It may just be your environment that needs changing. Adjust your surroundings, and you'll begin to notice something powerful. Your thinking clears, your energy returns, and your life starts to align with your vision. Not by force, but because the conditions are finally right for you to flourish. Most people wait for a big breakthrough to change their lives. They wait for the perfect opportunity, the ideal timing, or some massive shift that will suddenly make everything better. But transformation doesn't work like that. Real, lasting change comes from the small, often overlooked habits that you commit to every single day. It's not the dramatic changes that reshape your life. It's the consistent, quiet disciplines that seem insignificant in the moment, but compound into something powerful over time. If your life feels stuck, it's probably not because of a lack of potential. It's more likely because your daily routines aren't aligned with your desired future. One small habit can have a ripple effect. Waking up an hour earlier might give you time to pray, think, plan, or just breathe before the world rushes in. Choosing to read 10 pages a day might open your mind to new ideas and perspectives that shift your decision-making. Taking 5 minutes to express gratitude could completely change your emotional state and how you respond to challenges. The power is in the pattern, not the performance. Refocus it's in doing something so small it feels almost meaningless, but doing it anyway, because you know that even a seed takes time to grow into a tree. We live in a world that celebrates big wins, fast results, and overnight success. But what no one sees is the months and years of steady, disciplined choices that led to those victories. Everyone wants to change, but few are willing to embrace the boring, the repetitive, the daily grind. That's where the real transformation hides. Not in the spotlight, but in the shadows of consistency. And if you can commit to mastering the small, you'll eventually experience the big. Your habits are not just actions. They are votes for the kind of person you are becoming. Every time you choose discipline over distraction, you're casting a vote for the stronger version of you. Every time you choose growth over comfort, you're signaling to your mind and spirit that you're serious about your future. And the beauty of this is that you don't need a complete life overhaul. You just need one small, intentional change and the courage to keep showing up for it daily. The truth is, small habits are more powerful than bursts of motivation because they're sustainable. They build momentum. They train your brain to expect progress, to trust the process, to stay committed even when the excitement fades. And over time, they create new default settings. What once felt hard becomes automatic. What once required willpower becomes your norm. That's the power of compound consistency. It doesn't shout, but it always delivers. If you want a different life, you must start doing things differently, even in the smallest ways. You must replace excuses with action, replace waiting with movement, replace perfection with progress. Ask yourself, what is one small thing I can do today that aligns with who I want to become? Not next week, not when it feels easier, today. Then do it again tomorrow, and again the day after that. Not for instant results, but because that's how transformation begins. One habit at a time. Change isn't found in a leap. It's hidden in the steps. The steps you take when no one's watching. The steps you take when there's no reward yet. The steps you take simply because you've decided that the future you're building is worth the effort. So stop underestimating small beginnings. Stop ignoring the power of daily discipline. Because your future self is waiting not for a miracle, but for a consistent you. The most powerful transformation you can ever experience begins not with what you do, but with how you think. Your mindset is the invisible architect of your life. It shapes your beliefs, colors your perception, and influences every choice you make. If you want to transform your life, the first and most important change has to happen inside your mind. Because no matter how many strategies you try, no matter how many goals you set, if your mindset stays stuck in doubt, fear, or limitation, nothing will truly change. Most people live their entire lives under the weight of a fixed mindset, believing that their abilities, intelligence, and circumstances are permanent and unchangeable. They think, this is just who I am, or I'll never be good enough. This mindset traps them in a cycle of fear and failure. But a growth mindset, the belief that you can develop, learn, and improve, opens the door to endless possibilities. When you shift your mindset, you unlock potential that was hidden beneath limiting beliefs and self-imposed boundaries. Changing your mindset isn't about ignoring reality or pretending everything is perfect. It's about seeing challenges differently. Instead of obstacles that stop you, they become opportunities to learn. Instead of failures that define you, they become lessons that refine you. This shift creates resilience, the ability to bounce back stronger every time life knocks you down. And resilience is the foundation of transformation, because it means you won't quit when things get tough. The key to a mindset shift lies in awareness and intention. You must first become aware of the thoughts that run your life. The negative self-talk, the doubts, the fears. Then you have to intentionally replace them with empowering truths. This isn't a one-time event, it's a daily practice. Every time you catch yourself thinking, I can't, pause and say, I'm learning. When fear whispers, what if I fail? Respond with, what if I succeed? Over time, this rewiring changes how you see yourself and your future. Your mindset also shapes how you handle setbacks. A fixed mindset sees failure as a sign to stop, while a growth mindset sees it as a sign to try again with more wisdom. This difference is crucial because transformation never follows a straight path. It's messy, unpredictable, and full of ups and downs. But with the right mindset, every setback is fuel for progress rather than a reason to quit. It's the difference between being defeated by life and being refined by it. One of the biggest mindset shifts you can make is to take full responsibility for your life. This means no more blaming circumstances, other people, or bad luck. It means owning your choices, your reactions, and your growth. When you accept responsibility, you reclaim your power. You become the driver of your life, not a passenger stuck watching from the sidelines. This shift breeds confidence, courage, and clarity, the exact ingredients needed for transformation. The exact ingredients needed. Mindset isn't just a personal thing, it's contagious. The way you think influences your energy, your actions, and the people around you. When you embody a growth mindset, you inspire others to believe in their own potential. You become a catalyst for change, not just in your life, but in your community. And that creates a ripple effect far beyond what you might imagine. Transformation begins in the mind, but it doesn't end there. It shows up in your habits, your decisions, your relationships, and your results. So if you're feeling stuck, overwhelmed, or doubtful, start here. Start with your thoughts. Challenge your limits. Feed your mind with truth and possibility. Train yourself to see potential where others see problems, and watch how that mindset shift unlocks doors you didn't even know existed. Because when your mind changes, everything changes. You stop waiting for permission to be great. You stop settling for less than you deserve. You start living from a place of power, purpose, and possibility. And that is the true key to transforming your life, one thought at a time. When it comes to transforming your life, many people believe the secret lies in bursts of extreme effort, a sudden sprint to the finish line, fueled by passion and adrenaline. They think that if they just work harder, longer, or push themselves to the limit, everything will change overnight. But the truth is, intensity alone rarely leads to lasting transformation. What really moves the needle is consistency. The small, steady actions you commit to over time, regardless of how you feel in the moment. It's not about how hard you go, but how long you keep going. Consistency is the quiet engine behind every success story. It doesn't grab headlines, it doesn't scream for attention, and it doesn't look glamorous, but it works. When you choose to show up every day, whether you're motivated or not, whether progress feels fast or slow, you're building a foundation that no sudden burst of effort can match. It's like planting a tree. You don't see the growth immediately, but over weeks, months, and years, those small roots strengthen, the trunk thickens, and eventually you have a tree that stands tall through storms and seasons. The problem with intensity is that it's often unsustainable. It can lead to burnout, frustration, and disappointment when the quick results don't materialize. People pour all their energy into a goal for a short period, then run out of steam and quit. But transformation isn't a race, it's a lifelong journey. The most successful people aren't those who work themselves to exhaustion once in a while. They're those who keep taking consistent steps, no matter how small, every single day. Consistency is about discipline, not motivation. Motivation is a feeling. It's fickle and comes and goes. Discipline is a choice. It's what keeps you going when motivation fades. It's what makes you get up early to work on your dreams, even when you'd rather stay in bed. It's what helps you resist distractions and temptations that pull you away from your goals. And it's what turns good intentions into lasting habits. When you prioritize consistency, You stop relying on how you feel and start relying on what you've committed to. Another powerful truth about consistency is that it builds momentum. Each small action you take creates energy that carries you forward. Even on days when you don't feel like pushing, the habit itself pulls you through. This momentum makes it easier to keep going, and before you know it, what once felt like a struggle becomes your new normal. You're no longer fighting against resistance. You're moving with the current of progress. And that is how transformation becomes not just possible, but inevitable. Consistency also shapes your identity. Every choice you make is a vote for the person you want to be. When you consistently practice patience, kindness, discipline, or courage, you reinforce those qualities in yourself. Over time, your actions become who you are. So the real question isn't just, what do I want to achieve? It's what kind of person do I want to become? And then what consistent actions will get me there? Because transformation is as much about becoming as it is about doing. Many people underestimate the power of small daily wins. They get caught up in the idea that change has to be dramatic or revolutionary. But the truth is, success is a series of small victories strung together by consistency. Each day you follow through, each time you resist quitting, each moment you push past comfort, you're rewriting your story. You're proving to yourself that change is possible, and that builds confidence, the fuel that keeps you going long after the initial excitement fades. So if you want to transform your life, don't wait for a surge of motivation or a perfect moment to start. Don't rely on willpower alone or expect overnight success. Instead, commit to consistency. Show up for yourself day after day, even when it's hard or boring. Trust that these small, steady actions will compound into something greater than you imagined. Because transformation isn't about intensity, it's about endurance. And the person who endures, who refuses to quit, is the one who ultimately wins. One of the most overlooked but most powerful influences on your ability to transform your life is the company you keep. The people, environments, and communities that surround you have a profound impact on your thoughts, your habits, and ultimately your destiny. Transformation isn't just an internal battle. It's a journey shaped by external forces as well. If you want to change your life, you must be intentional about surrounding yourself with growth, people, ideas, and spaces that challenge you, inspire you, and hold you accountable. Imagine a plant trying to grow in rocky, barren soil with little sunlight. No matter how strong the seed is, it will struggle, wither, or grow only in small bursts. But place that same seed in rich, fertile soil with the right amount of sunlight and water, and it will thrive. Your environment works the same way. When you spend time around people who support your dreams, push you to be better, and believe in your potential, you create fertile ground for growth. But if you're surrounded by negativity, complacency, or people who drain your energy, your progress will be stunted no matter how hard you try. Growth is contagious. When you spend time with people who are committed to improving themselves, learning new things, and overcoming challenges, their mindset and habits start to rub off on you. You begin to see new possibilities, set higher standards, and develop a hunger for progress that didn't exist before. These relationships become a mirror that reflects back your potential and a motivation that pulls you forward even when you feel like giving up. This is why the people you surround yourself with can either be your greatest asset or your biggest liability. It's not just about people, it's also about the ideas and content you consume. Books, podcasts, videos, and conversations shape your worldview and influence your beliefs. Feeding your mind with growth-oriented, positive, and empowering content fuels your transformation. On the other hand, allowing yourself to be consumed by negativity, fear, or complacency keeps you stuck. You must guard what you allow into your mental space just as carefully as you choose who you spend your time with. Accountability is another powerful reason to surround yourself with growth. When you commit to change, having a circle of people who hold you responsible can make all the difference. They remind you of your goals when your motivation fades, celebrate your progress, and gently correct your course when you stray. Growth-minded friends or mentors don't just cheer you on from the sidelines. They actively invest in your success and push you to become the best version of yourself. Sometimes, the process of surrounding yourself with growth means making tough choices. It might mean distancing yourself from toxic relationships that hold you back, or stepping away from environments that breed negativity and complacency. Change requires courage, not just to grow, but to let go. And though it can be uncomfortable, creating space for positive influence is essential if you want to evolve into the person you're meant to be. Another key part of surrounding yourself with growth is being open to feedback and new perspectives. Growth-minded environments challenge your assumptions and push you beyond your comfort zone. They encourage curiosity, critical thinking, and humility. When you embrace this openness, you accelerate your transformation because you're no longer trapped by old beliefs or limited thinking. You become adaptable, resilient, and ready for whatever life throws your way. In essence, transformation is rarely a solo journey. While your mindset, habits, and discipline are vital, the external influences around you either support or sabotage your progress. So take a moment to evaluate your circle. Are the people in your life inspiring growth or encouraging stagnation? Are the ideas you consume lifting you up or dragging you down? Are the environments you spend time in nurturing your dreams or feeding your doubt? The answer to these questions could be the difference between the life you have and the life you want. Remember, growth is not just a destination, it's a community. When you surround yourself with growth, you create a powerful ecosystem that sustains your transformation, fuels your passion, and propels you toward your highest potential. Your environment can either limit you or liberate you. Choose wisely, because the company you keep will shape the future you build. So what's the one simple change? It's not a trick or tactic. It's that decide who you are and align everything, your habits, your thoughts, your boundaries, with that decision. Most people live their entire lives waiting for something to change. The wise ones, they become the change. And the moment you do, the world will adjust to the new version of you.